Close your eyes. When I say the word war, what is the very first image that flashes in your mind? If you're like most of us living in the United States, your perception of war is likely filtered. It's filtered through Hollywood lenses, through adrenaline-pumping video games, and through carefully curated 2-minute news segments that talk about strategic strikes and collateral damage. We consume war as entertainment, or we consume it as politics. But the reality of war, the dark reality that exists when the director yells cut, or when the news anchor moves on to the weather report, is something entirely different. Today, we aren't talking about politics. We aren't talking about who is right or wrong in any specific conflict. We are tearing down the curtain to look at the universal, brutal truth of warfare that humanity tries so hard to forget. And a warning. The concepts we're discussing today are heavy, but they are necessary. Living here in the U.S., geographically isolated from most major modern conflicts, it's easy to buy into the myth of the clean war. We hear about smart bombs and precision-guided munitions. We are sold an idea that modern warfare is surgical, that we can remove the bad guys with minimal impact on everything else. But warfare is inherently chaotic. It is messy, and it is terrifyingly loud. The reality on the ground isn't surgical. It's the smell of cordite, burning diesel, and untreated sewage. It's a constant, vibrating state of hyper-awareness, where the noise of a slamming door can trigger a full-blown panic attack. I want to try something with you right now. Look around the room you're sitting in. It's safe. It's quiet. What is the loudest sound you hear right now? Maybe a fan. Some traffic outside. Drop a comment and let me know. Now, imagine that safety is stripped away instantly. Imagine the structures around you aren't shelter, but potential shrapnel. The dark reality is that for the combatant on the ground, the 19-year-old kid, sent to fight, the political objectives don't matter when the bullets start flying. The only reality is survival. It's fear. It's the agonizing realization that you might have to take a life to save your own, and the permanent stain that leaves on a human soul. There is nothing cinematic about it. We focus so much on the fighters. But in modern warfare, the vast majority of victims, estimates suggest up to 90% in recent conflicts, are civilians. People who just wanted to go to work, feed their kids, and sleep in their own beds. The darkest reality of war isn't necessarily the battlefield itself. It's what happens to the concept of home. I want you to pause for a second and really think about this. If you had 10 minutes to evacuate your house right now, knowing you would likely never return, what would you put in a single backpack? Your photos, your laptop, medication for your parents. How do you choose? Millions of people make that choice every year. War strips away identity. You are no longer an accountant, a teacher, or a nurse. You are just a refugee. And then there are the children. An entire generation is growing up right now in various parts of the world whose core childhood memory is unplaying outside. It's the sound of incoming artillery. Their normal is a state of constant trauma. We are planting seeds of generational instability that will grow for decades. That is a darkness you can't fix with a peace treaty. We have a short attention span. When a war ends on paper, or when the media gets bored, the cameras pack up and leave. But war doesn't end when the shooting stops. The aftermath is perhaps the darkest chapter because it's the silent one. For the combatants returning home, the war follows them. We talk about PTSD, but we often sanitize that too. It's not just having a bad dream. It's a fundamental rewiring of the brain's fear centers. It is moral injury, the profound psychological distress that comes from doing things that violate your own moral code because war demanded it. And what about the land itself? There are countries today still littered with unexploded ordnance from wars fought 50 years ago. Farmers are still being maimed by landmines planted by soldiers who are long since dead. The reality is that war poisons the ground literally and metaphorically for generations. The economic ruin sets countries back decades, creating poverty vacuums that just lead to more war. It's a vicious, endless cycle. It is uncomfortable to look at this. It hurts to acknowledge it. It's much easier to change the channel, watch a superhero movie, and view violence as something abstract. But if we, especially those of us in relative safety, refuse to look at the real, dark reality of war, the smell, the fear, The displacement, the lifelong trauma then. We become numb to it, and numbness is dangerous. Numbness allows it to keep happening. We need to understand that war is not a policy tool. It is a catastrophe of the human experience. Every single time. This is a heavy topic, and I want to hear your genuine thoughts. Has learning about the unsanitized reality of war changed how you view the headlines you see today? Let's have a real, respectful discussion down below. Thank you for watching and for being willing to look into the dark. Take care of yourselves.